everyone. Welcome back to the Anime Iceberg. I'm Megan,
And I'm Meg.
and today we're talking about Dr. Stone, episode 35, Prologue of Dr. Stone.
In this episode, Tsukasa and Senku defeat Hyoga, but Tsukasa is mortally wounded. The options for treating sepsis and a punctured lung are limited, painful, and uncertain.
Yep, that's a good description. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
Last episode of this season, so it's season 2, episode
11.
11. Okay, and this is manga chapter 82, Epilogue of Stone Wars, end of part 2, and 83, part 3, Dr. Stone. I really don't get the breaks and everything, but that's
Hmm.
okay. I don't have to understand it.
Yeah, interesting. The manga titles get a 6 out of 10. Yeah, it's kind of a big episode, so let's get into it. Um, End of the last episode, Tsukasa and Senku had beaten Hyoga, and so we get to see the wrap up of that with um Homura came to Hyoga's rescue, but everyone was already there, so they both got captured. And they kind of have an interesting conversation because this is like the first person that they've had to like take in take into cap to take captive. Um because they're a danger to society, I guess, you could say. And of course, Magma in true Magma fashion is like, let's kill him. Um, and Senku's like, nah, I don't, we're not gonna kill him, but I don't care what we do once there's enough people. Oh my goodness. Once we revived enough people, his power will be meaningless and you can take him to the court of law or whatever you want to
Yeah.
do. Um, so that's the end of that. Um, so now everybody's working together. Both the Kingdom of Science and the Tsukasa Empire, which I would say no longer exists.
Yeah.
Um, but this is the first time we see them pour revival fluid on a statue that Yuzuriha has fixed, and it's successful. They revive a mangaka, and so he's, of course, concerned about his deadlines. Like, I gotta write.
I don't have
Um,
any idea what Boichi looks like, but I wonder if
yeah, I was kind of like, is that a self-insert?
maybe.
Um, Yeah, and also Yo decides to rejoin society. Um, Nobody really trusts him, but
Whatever.
yeah,
Uh. Well,
he's
Yuzuri has just like, I'm just happy to have more help. Like, we need all the
hmm
hands we can get.
Yep, yep, they're working on putting people back together. And part of that is that Tsukasa is giving the location of every single person that he smashed. Um,
Um, do you want to
as as I was saying that, I was like, I know what that sounds like, but I'm just gonna say it anyway.
Can I leave that in?
If you leave this part of the conversation as well.
Yeah. Usually I'm the one
I
making slips like that.
now I'm just thinking of that TikTok where it's like smash, smash, smash.
I'm thinking of that story I told you where I used the word bang in the wrong context.
Now we were just talking about that.
Most embarrassing day ever.
Yeah, that was. Oh, I think I would gonna die inside.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was going to say something. So, when Ukyo is like writing down Tsukasa's instructions about where to find the statues he broke and like who they are and whatnot, it just he asked Tsukasa, "So you remember every single one that you broke?" And he's like, "Yeah." And that reminded me of a very similar scene in Captain America Civil War where Bucky is fighting Iron Man and Iron Man's talking about all of the victims of the Winter Soldier. He's like, "Do you even remember them?" And Bucky says, I remember all of them.
Hmm.
Ouch.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting because like Tsukasa willingly crushed all the statues, like knowing what he was doing, but he still like chose to do it
Right. He feels
anyway.
remorse, but he kind of was like the ends justify the means, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So now that the fighting is through and it's obvious that his I think he's come to realize like my way was impulsive or like rash, and now he's got like his sisters revived and everything. He's got somebody to look after. So I think he's coming to terms with he may have been more in the wrong than he thought. So
Mm-hmm.
I feel like now that there's remorse, it's like he's willing to be like, if there's a way for me to make amends, now's the time to, try to help, even though he's weak and obviously dying, he's trying to remedy at least some of what he's done.
Yep, he's been hurt pretty bad. And Senku is doing everything he can to save him. He makes a super glue solution to try to like glue his wound shut. And but it's like this is not really gonna work. His lung has been punctured and yeah, he's gonna die from sepsis. Um which if I remember right, that's like let me double check before I say it. Basically like the when your body is like trying to fight an infection too much and it like kills you
Mhm.
basically. But Senku has an idea. He wants to kill Tsukasa first and then put him into a cold sleep and um basically hoping that at some point they'll like figure out how to turn people back to stone and use that to heal him, basically like how Senku was saved, you
Yeah,
know.
because petrification and then revival fluid equals wounds being healed. Like the petrification process
Hmm.
and revival process would be able to heal pretty much any wound since Senku was brought back basically from the dead. And Mirai too,
Hmm.
because she was brain dead.
That's yeah. Yep. So they
Yeah.
don't know how long he would be under, but um Senku's like very determined to bring Tsukasa back.
hmm
Um and Tsukasa's like, "Sure, let's do it."
I got no
Um
other choice. I'm dying anyway.
yep. Yep. And they're
But
like uh but then I don't know, I love how quick they become friends because then he's like, "This is your revenge, Senku, for me killing you."
yeah. Well, some old hurts and wounds are being mended here. I like in the manga when Senku's talking about repetrifying, Gen asks, how can you do that? And Senku just goes, hold your horses, you got the patience of a toddler. And he tells Tsukasa, I'll kill you so hard it'll make your head spin. It's just like trying to make light of a situation, but I like how they do it for the anime because you can hear the emotion. Like you can definitely see it drawn on the faces in the manga and the anime, but there's something about having people talk and hearing the emotion out of the characters that I don't know, that scene kind of can get you.
Hmm. Yeah. Yep, it starts you down an emotional path. Setting it up for later. So then Senku makes well, he calls it a refrigerator, but it's really a freezer. And this I thought was just another example of Senku just calling something whatever he wants, like with the cell phone. Like, it's not a refrigerator, Senku, it is a freezer. And so they've got that ready and it's cool. They're basically using, okay, I don't remember exactly what they're doing because wasn't listening, but basically they're using like the waterfall, like they set them up in a cave and they're using the water to um maybe does he have did he have generators?
He's definitely powered
Mm,
things through
yeah.
water wheels and things
Yeah.
before, so
Yeah. Anyway, everybody leaves and it's just Senku and Tsukasa, the two leaders chatting. And this part is just I think the first time I watched it I definitely teared up because you can just like hear it. You're right. And Aaron Dismuker, Senku's voice, like how emotional he is, but they're just chatting about random things. Um, but one interesting thing, Senku starts out with if you could bring anybody to space, like I think he said two people to space, who would it be?
Because the
Um,
Soyuz rocket seats three
yep,
people, so like you and who else?
yep. Um, and said he would bring Chrome and Taiju. Um, because he couldn't go himself, which I think is important. I don't know, I feel like it might be important to remember. I'm not sure yet. Um, and yeah, they basically just like reminisce about their time together and um then eventually Tsukasa like dies and Senku's like still talking and breaks my heart.
Yeah,
Like I
but
this is
he's trying to continue the conversation and he's just rambling about like Super Mario Brothers, and then he just like kind of falls off. He's like, right, Tsukasa? And he just stops because he knew the whole
Mhm.
time. Like he's still talking, but he knows.
Yeah.
But I mean, if it were me, like Senku had his back turned while he was still talking, and I think I couldn't, I don't think I could look at somebody as the life leaves their eyes.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be really hard. But I think this is like I mean we've seen Senku get kind of emotional like with the telescope and going like visiting his dad's grave.
Mhm.
Um but I think this is the most emotional we've seen him
Yeah, well,
for
because when
sure.
he was visiting his dad's grave, we definitely saw him cry.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in his heart, he had already accepted that his dad was gone. It was just that was the moment where he's like, "Yep, this is real. I gotta let it out." But with
Mm-hmm.
Tsukasa, this is something that is actively happening in the present moment, and he's trying his best, but there's not anything he can do. And yeah, so it makes sense why he's getting that emotional. And I think I heard Aaron Dismuke say one time that this is one of the only times he's gotten super emotional in the booth. Like he's not a voice actor who usually cries, I guess, in the booth, because I mean it's just acting. But I think he said something like this scene came up and he's like, no, there was definitely some moisture there.
Yeah, no, I don't cry that often when watching stuff, but this nearly got me. It was close. Um anyway, so they freeze Tsukasa and what's next now? Um Senku gathers everyone and he's like our next goal is to figure out the petrification. And they need to build a ship to like go to the source. Um which they think is all the way on the other side of the globe, which it is. Wait, was it South America
It
where it
originated in
originated?
South America, I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
Yeah. And the episode ends where we see a statue that we've never seen before.
Manga
Yeah.
readers got really excited at that. Anime only people were like, well, I guess he's important in the next season.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. All right. Manga notes. Woohoo. So we got a worker file for the Kingdom of Science. Mr. Mangaka. Manga power, 4 stars. Earn ability, 1 star. All-nighter skills, 5 star. Ouch. His full name is Tetsuya Kinomoto, and he is 155 centimeters tall. That's pretty short. I don't know how to convert that, but
Yeah. I got it.
Meg's got it. Um, his job in the kingdom is drawing pictures. Mr. Kinomoto's pretty darn great at drawing comics, but he's not good at much else. He was a little let down upon being revived in a world lacking so many amenities, but then he realized no more deadlines. Say no more, long live the stone world.
Yeah, he's almost 5'1".
Wow. He's
No, just
shorter.
kidding. Yes. Yes. Almost
Is he
5'1".
shorter than Mantle? What did we say? What was Mantle?
Uh, why am
Okay.
I suddenly struggling with
Mantle is
math?
151
Okay,
centimeters.
so he is shorter.
Yeah.
He's
4'9".
Yep,
Okay.
almost 5 feet. Close. 4.95.
Okay. Anyway, then we have a Mecha Senku Q&A. In the story Tsukasa told in chapter 1, was he actually talking about his own past? And was the little sister who loved mermaids actually Mirai? Mecha Senku says, well, duh. In the original fairy tale about the mermaid, she dissolves into bubbles in the end, but Tsukasa gave the story a happy ending when he told it to Mirai. That's
Cute.
yeah.
All right. Now, well, I guess that's all my stuff. Um,
Yeah.
so Senku, he said, get excited one time.
This
Because
is
classic, he's
exhilarating.
gotta say it at the end of the season, right?
And the beginning and the end each time.
Yes. Yes. Um, and yeah, okay, what I wanted to talk about. This this one thing bothers me. Maybe not just this one thing, but um this is the first time in Dr. Stone where I know for sure that the science is not right. Um so Tsukasa would be dead. I mean like he did die, but like
Even if they got him to be petrified and revived, he would still
he
not be able to come back, is what you're
I
saying.
think I think so. Like it would I I think he wouldn't I think that he wouldn't be able to be brought back to life because when you freeze cells, which is what your whole body is made out of, um you can't they die because a lot of a lot of your cells or your body is like made out of water, and when water freezes it expands and your cells burst.
Mm.
So it would depend on how the petrification science worked. Like if your dead cells, once they're gone, they can't be like brought back, then he's dead. But if they're saying I don't know. Okay. I think he'd be dead, all right? Because because also so it is possible to freeze cells, like we do that all the time in the lab. But you have to use like um what we call a cryoprotectant, which is basically well what we use it's called dimethyl sulfoxide, and it reduces ice formation when cells freeze. Um, so it like prevents the cells from like expanding and bursting. And also when you freeze cells, you have to do it super slowly. Like it's like 1 degree per minute, maybe. Actually, I'm gonna Google it because I wanna remind myself. Okay, I was right the first time. 1 degree per minute. But it's 1 degree Celsius
Ah,
per
oh,
minute.
yeah.
Anyway, basically that helps prevents the cells from like forming. So both the DMSO or the dimethyl sulfoxide and the slow freezing prevents the like ice formation and cells bursting.
Mm.
So basically freezing him, all of his cells would or most of them would not survive, and there's also no cryoprotectant.
Okay. So there wouldn't be
Um,
anything to bring back because the cells would
yes.
be there. Okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
And also, not only that, I think it seems pretty impossible for Senku to reach the temperatures that you need to freeze to like keep him in a state of like actually frozen. Like we keep ourselves frozen at I think it's minus however cold liquid nitrogen is. Like
Oh,
yeah, that's
oh.
how cold it needs to be. So all of that to say, I think Tsukasa would be dead. Like I don't
Wow.
think that's legit. Um
Okay.
anyway, there you go. Interesting fact. One thing that I know for sure is wrong. Probably wrong. Um, so oh yes, okay, the thing that I was gonna tell you today. So I was like, well, you'll know, but I was like prepping for something and like trying to pump myself up.
Yes.
And so I was listening to, is it Hold Them Down? Is that
Yes.
the name?
Yes.
Yeah, so I was listening to
Yes.
that and I was like in a room by myself, but there was a glass door or like a glass wall.
Okay.
And I was like totally mouthing the words and like legit like
Flailing around.
yep. And then I I was doing that and then all of a sudden and my eyes were closed. I don't know why I was doing that, but all of a sudden I like feel the light shift
Oh,
and I look through the glass windows and there's a guy just staring at me. He's like closing the blinds. Like melted into my seat. I
oh
was
my
like,
goodness.
no, kill me. And then after I was done doing what I was doing, I like came in the room and he was like still there and he just like stared me down as I walked away and I was like,
How
okay,
rude.
leave me alone.
Unless he figured out which song you were singing, he was like, I think she was singing.
Well,
I
the
think
thing is I wasn't singing. I was just
well, not
mouthing the
singing,
words.
mouthing.
So no, he was like 50, so I don't think. I
Rude.
don't think- Yeah, so that was fun. But hey, even though Hold Them Down is like really dark song, it is like a
The bop.
yep,
It's really good.
yep. Anyway, that was a super random story that happened to me today. Okay, I don't know.
Oh, we can say, okay, Dr. Stone season 4 just
Oh,
started.
yes. How could we forget about that?
We watched the first episode last night. I know we record ahead of time, so this is the timeline
Mm-hmm.
is all screwed up for you listeners, but episode 1, I liked it. We can't say too much, obviously, because this is a spoiler-free podcast, but I mean, it wasn't anything grand. They had their little recap. They had a little thing they did with the characters all participating in something, but I thought it was a solid first episode. It's not, it's important, but it's not like it's just setting the mood. It's not going to like determine the fate of the story, but I don't know. I
Yeah.
just like seeing our friends again.
Yeah.
I know,
I
you have
didn't really
thoughts.
like it, to be
That's
honest.
okay.
It was too ridiculous for me. And maybe just because like we're like well, we're covering the podcast, we're in like a serious part of the show. So I'm just like not used to that, but I don't know.
I am taking it as they're infusing comedy into it from the get-go because if the trailer was any indication, it's gonna get intense. So I'll take it. I'll take it now and be happy.
Okay. You can do that. I will not. Maybe when we watch it again for the podcast, I'll feel
Yeah.
differently. But yeah, so what was your favorite line of the episode?
Mine came from Gen when he was talking to the other modern timers and they were freaked out that Senku was trying to make a refrigerator. Yeah, typical modern person's reaction. That's what I said at first too. But now my only response is to laugh at it.
Yeah, his laugh was unhinged.
It was
I
almost
loved
like
it.
Hermes, like,
Yeah, yes, it
and
was.
Brandon is an epic.
Yes.
Just plays Apollo, not Hermes.
Mm.
What was your favorite line?
Mine came from Senku when he was talking with Tsukasa and he said, "What's wrong with making a little small talk?" Okay, what did we learn in this episode?
There's nothing wrong with a pointless conversation.
That's true. And who pushed the story forward?
Senku for putting Tsukasa on ice, or making a Tsukasicle.
Yep. Actually, okay, one funny thing about, or what did we learn? I once gave a presentation about how I hated small talk and how I thought it was pointless.
Okay, Senku. Wow. How very on brand.
Yep. And I also did it when it was like, freshman year of college when you're trying to get to know people.
You didn't
And I was
do
like,
that for your public speaking class, did you?
yeah, I
Oh, I did my presentation on the Olympics.
did. I was living loud. Okay, also, thank goodness my professor was like, don't do the like said, come up with a different idea. But I also wanted to give a presentation. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was something along the lines of dating is stupid. It wasn't that, but like it was basically that. And then
That
she was like, maybe don't do that.
them's dangerous words at a private Christian university.
All right. I I don't know what I mean, I was 16,
Those
so
are legit the most Senku things you could have chosen. I did mine on the Olympics and Dr. Seuss and what was the other one? There was like multiple, and then you had to like share a personal story at one point. I don't
mm-hmm.
know.
Yep. That that's hilarious. I feel like it just showcases our personalities. I'm not out here to make friends.
Bold words to say in front of a Hufflepuff.
Oh, and that's why I am a Ravenclaw. Oh, okay. Well, actually, I was gonna say this is actually the last episode we're recording before our little break, but it'll be the first one that comes out after the break.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Cool.
all right, we'll be back next week with another episode, a very special episode.
Yes. All right.
All
Till then.
right,
Bye.
bye.